In this Blender tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this procedural smooth concrete material in Blender. Now, if you'd like to purchase the tutorial files, then you can get that over on my Gumroad store, and you also get access to the procedural material if you join my Patreon. And also, before we start, this video was brought to you by my Blender procedural material packs. So I create packs of 10 realistic procedural materials created with Blender's procedural nodes. So if you'd like to purchase the procedural material packs, I'll have the links in the description where you can purchase on my Gumroad store. So checking out my procedural material packs as well as my Gumroad and Patreon is a really great way to help support me and my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to learn how to create all of my procedural materials, then you can check out my Blender procedural material playlist on YouTube. Again, the links are in the description. So let me just show you what I have in the 3D space. So I just added a monkey head and I subdivided it and shaded it smooth. And then I also added this icosphere here, a subdivided icosphere, and shaded that smooth as well. And then I also added this cube here with a bevel on it. But you can of course add your procedural material to any object that you want. And then also to get some nice lighting, I added in this plane right here. And then on this plane, I added an emission material and I just turned up the strength to make it very bright. And that way we have some nice bright lighting shining on the objects. And then also to get some nice lighting and reflections, I added in this Machine Shop 02 1K HDR. And this is from polyhaven.com. So if you'd like to download the HDRI, I'll have the links in the description. So in the world here, I just clicked on the yellow dot here and I added this in as an environment texture and opened up the HDRI. And then I will also be using the Node Wrangler add-on in this tutorial. So if you don't have that enabled, just click on edit and open up the preferences. And then over on the add-ons tab, you can search for the Node Wrangler and just checkmark the Node Wrangler add-on, and I'll show you how to use the add-on. All right, so I'm going to select this object. I'm going to click on new and I can just call this Procedural Smooth Concrete. So to start off, I'm going to press Shift A and I'm going to go to the search here and I'm going to search for a Musgrave texture. Let's just drop the Musgrave texture right here. And then we turned on the Node Wrangler add-on. So if you select the Musgrave texture, you can press Control T and that is going to add the texture coordinate and mapping. And then I don't need the mapping because that is just going to change the transforms of the Musgrave texture. I'm just going to click on the mapping and press X to delete it. And then I want to use the object coordinates. So I'm going to plug the object up to the vector, and the object coordinates are going to place the texture on the objects more evenly. And then using the other feature from the Node Wrangler, I'm going to hold down the Control and Shift key and click on different nodes, and that is going to preview the node. And then I didn't add this procedural material to these other objects right here. So I'm going to click right here and I'm going to drag and drop this material onto these other objects. All right, now I'm going to turn the scale down to 2 so that it is smaller. And then I'm also going to turn the detail up to like a 9.5. So we have some more details there. You can especially see it on the edges there. And then I'm going to turn the dimension all the way down to 0. And when we turn the dimension down, you can see now it has so much more detail there, and that's looking really nice. Now I'm also going to press Shift A and I'm going to search for a Voronoi texture. Let's drop the Voronoi right here. And then again, I can hold down the Control and Shift key and click on different nodes to preview them. And then I want to take the object and put that into the vector. And that way it's going to use the object coordinates for the mapping of the Voronoi as well. Now for the scale here, I'm going to turn the scale up and I'll turn it up to like a 16 on the Voronoi. So now what I want to do is I want to mix these two together. So I'm going to press Shift A and I'm going to search for a Mix RGB, and let's drop the Mix RGB right here. And then I'm going to take the Musgrave texture, and this is going to be the main texture. So I'm going to put this into color 1. And then I'm also going to Control Shift and select the mix to preview it. And then I'm going to use the Voronoi texture as the factor to mix color 1 and color 2 together. So we're going to take the distance from the Voronoi and we're going to put that into the factor. And now if you zoom in here, you can kind of start to see what's happening. Let's take color 2 and let's make it a bit darker. And if you'd like to use the same exact color that I'm using, then you can click over on the hex value and you can type in a hex value of 959595. So that is the color that I'll be using. So if you zoom in here, you can kind of see what it's doing. So we're using this Voronoi texture as the factor to tell it where it's going to be color 1 and where it's going to be color 2. So if you Control Shift and select the Musgrave texture and then Control Shift select the mix, you can go back and forth between these and you can see that result. Now I also want to give this whole thing some more noise. So I'm going to press Shift A and let's search for the noise texture. And I'm going to drop the noise texture right here and I'll just drop it up here. And then I can Control Shift and select the noise texture to preview it. And then again, I want to use the object coordinates. So I'm going to plug the object into the vector. Now on the scale, I'm just going to turn this to like a 3. And then I want there to be a lot of detail. So I'm going to turn the detail on the noise all the way up to the max, which is 15. So now I want to add this noise texture into the final color. So to do that, I'm going to take this mix and I'm going to press Shift Shift-D to duplicate it. Let's drop it up here. And then I'm going to take the factor from this noise texture and I'm going to put that into color 2. And then I'm going to take the mix from this color and I'm going to put that into color 1. So I can now Control Shift and select this to preview it. And then I just want to add the light values. So I'm going to click on this mix here and I'm going to change it to lighten. So it's right down here, click on lighten, and now it's just going to add those light values. So again, I can go back and forth between this mix and this mix. So Control Shift and select this and Control Shift and select this, and you can see that result. So we now have little bits of noise all around there. So this is the main texture that we're going to use for the concrete, but I do want to change the colors because the colors aren't very good. Some parts are really bright and some parts are like super black. So to change the colors, I'm going to press Shift-A. Let's go to the search here and I'm going to search for a color ramp node, and let's just drop the color ramp node right here. So now we can change these colors, and that's going to change the colors of the texture. So I'm first going to click on this white tab right here, and then I'll click on the color, and I'm going to make this a bit darker because I do want everything to be a bit more gray. So I'll make that a bit darker, and then also it does sometimes seem like concrete just looks very, very slightly blue. So I'm just going to make this very, very slightly blue. And if you'd like to use the exact same color that I'm using, then the hex value that I'll be using is 6C6D71. So it's a gray color with just a very, very tiny little amount of blue. And then I don't want the concrete to be that black, so I'm going to click on this tab right here and then click on the color, and I'm going to make that a bit brighter. And if you want to use the exact same hex value that I'm using, then you can type in a hex value of 535353. So now you can see that texture there is looking a lot more like concrete, and the colors look much more like concrete. So I can take the color and I can plug that into the base color, and then I can Control Shift and select the principled to preview that. We can see how that is looking. So now I want to add a little bit of imperfections and make it look like there are some little cracks or chunks out of the concrete. So to do that, I'm going to press Shift-A and let's search for another Voronoi texture, and I'm going to drop this here. And then I can Control Shift and select the Voronoi to preview it. Now I want to distort it because I don't want it to just look like these little dots. So I'm going to take the color from the noise texture and I'm going to put that into the vector of the Voronoi. And that way it's going to use the noise texture to distort the Voronoi texture. And so now you can see that that Voronoi texture is all distorted. So it's not those little dots. It's now this cool distorted texture. You can see that is looking really cool. And then I do want to be able to see a lot more of that. So on the scale here on the Voronoi, I'm going to change the scale to a 25. So now you can see we have a really cool texture there. Now I want to change the colors. So I'm going to press Shift-A and I'm going to search for a color ramp. Let's click on this color ramp and we're just going to drop it right in here. So the distance will go into the factor, and then you can just Control Shift and select the color ramp. Now I want to switch these values, so I'm going to click and drag and bring this over, and then click and drag and bring this white over. So the white is going to be over here, so it's actually mostly going to be black, and I'm going to drag the black tab over so that most of it is black, and there's just a few spots here and there that are white. And then I don't want it to be fully white because that's like really bright, so I'm going to click on this white tab, and I'm going to make it a little bit darker. And the hex value that I'm using for this one is 6 Cs, so CC, CC, CC. That is the exact gray color that I'll be using. So now I want to take all these little imperfections and I want to put that into the base color. So I'm going to click on one of these mix RGBs. This one is set to lighten. I'm going to press Shift-D to duplicate it and I'm going to drop it right here. So we can now use this mix RGB to mix in this texture here. So I'm going to take this color and I'm going to put that into the factor. And then I just want to add the dark values. So instead of lighten, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to change it to darken. And then I'm also going to Control Shift and select it to preview it. And then color 2 right now is just this gray color, and so I need to make it all the way black. And now that it's black, you can see that we have all those little imperfections and cracks there. So we are using this texture right here as the factor to tell it where it's going to be color 1 and where it's going to be color 2. So color 1 is this texture, but then color 2 is the black color. So I can now Control Shift and select the principled to preview it. So I do want to create one more layer of textures and then add that into the concrete, and that's going to be some little dots to look like some little pebbles and rocks which are in the concrete. So to do this, I'm going to press Shift-A and let's search for one more Voronoi texture, and I'm going to drop this one above the noise texture, and then I can plug the object into the vector again so that we're using the object coordinates. And then I can Control Shift and select it to preview it. Now for this one, I want the dots to be very small, so on the scale here, I'm just going to change this to like a 50 so we have a bunch of little dots. Now I want to make these dots sharper because you can see some of them are kind of going into each other, so I want to make it much more sharp and more contrasty. So So I'm going to press Shift A and I'm going to search here for another color ramp. Let's click on the color ramp and then just drop it right here. So the distance from the Voronoi is going to go into the color ramp, and then just Control Shift and select the color ramp to preview it. Now I want to switch these values, so I'm going to drag this black tab out, and I'm just going to drag this black tab to about here, and then I'm going to drag the white tab all the way over, and now you can see that it's mostly black, but just here and there are those sharp dots, and the edges are much sharper. Now I don't want these little dots to be all over the place, I just want them to be in some spots here and there. So what I'm going to do is bring this color ramp up, and then I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate, and I'm going to duplicate this color ramp and bring it down. So we're just going to have this color ramp above this one. And why I'm doing that is because I'm going to use this noise texture right here to tell it where those little dots are going to be. But if I Control Shift and select this noise texture, you can see that it's not very contrasty at all. And so I want to make it much more contrasty. So I'm going to take the factor from this noise texture and I'm going to put it into the factor of the color ramp. And then I can Control Shift and select it to preview it. Now it's all black right now, and that is because I need to drag this out. So I'm going to drag this way out, and then I'm going to bring the white tab much farther over, just like that. So now it's much more contrasty. And so now where those white parts are, that is where this Voronoi texture is going to show up. So what we need to do is we need to mix these together. So I'm going to take one of these mix RGBs. I can just take one of these. So I'm just going to grab the darken and I'll press Shift D to duplicate, and I'm going to drop it right here. And then I don't want it to be set to darken. So I'm just going to change it back to the default, which is mix. So I'm now going to take this color ramp, this top one here, and I'm going to put the color into color 2. And so this one up here, this one is the dots. And then I can Control Shift and select the mix to preview it. Now I want to control where the dots are going to show up. So we're going to use this color ramp here as the factor. So the color is going to go into the factor. So just put the color into the factor and then just Control Shift and select the mix to preview it. So now color 1 is going to be fully black. So just make it fully black. And now you can see that that is much more random. So those dots aren't everywhere. They're just in some spots here and there. And that looks much more natural and organic. So we can now mix this in with our final material. So I'm going to select this darken and I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate it, and I'm just going to drop it right here. And then let's just bring these out over here. So I can now use this darken and add in this texture. So I'm going to take this color here and I'm going to put that into the factor of this darken. And then this darken here from the original texture, that is going to go into color 1, and then color 2 is going to be fully black. So now if I Control Shift and select the darken, you can zoom in here and you can see that those dots are showing up. They're only in some spots here and there. So I can Control Shift and select this, and then Control Shift and select this, and you can see how that is changing the texture. So let's just Control Shift and select the principled BSDF to preview how that's looking. So that is looking pretty cool. It's starting to look a lot like concrete, but there's still two more things that I want to do. I want to add some data into the normal here to give it some bump, and then I also want to play around with the roughness value as well. So let's first do the roughness. So I'm going to take the color right here, this final color, and I'm going to put that into the roughness. Now I want to be able to control that better because you can see this is looking super shiny and concrete is not that shiny. So to control these values, I'm going to press Shift A, and again we're going to search for another color ramp. So I'm going to click on this color ramp and I'm just going to drop it right in here. So the color will go through the factor of the color ramp, and then that is going to go into the roughness. So if I make this texture lighter, it's going to be more and more rough, but if it's darker, it's going to be more and more shiny. So to make it lighter, you can click on this black one here and you can click on this color, and you can see if I turn it up, it's going to be more and more rough. So I'm going to turn this up to a much brighter color so that concrete looks much more rough. And the hex value that I'll be using for this one is B2, B2, B2. So that is the roughness value that I'm going to use. All right, so this is starting to look like concrete, but I do just want to give it a little bit of bump. Even though it is a smooth concrete, it still is going to have a little bit of bumpiness over the surface. So I'm going to be adding in 4 layers of bump. So I'm going to press Shift A, and we want to search for a bump node, and let's drop the bump node right here. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to take this Musgrave texture and put that into the normal. So I'm going to take the height and I'm going to put that all the way over here into the normal on the principled BSDF. Now we need to convert this to normal data because you can see the shading looks really weird, and that is because this is black and white data, but in order for the normal to work, it needs to have normal data. So that is where this bump node comes in. So the bump node will convert this data to normal data. So we're just going to drop the bump node right in here, and then the height value isn't going to go into the normal, it's going to go into the height. So the Musgrave texture is going to go into the height, and then that bump node will convert it to normal data, and that's going to go into the normal. So you can now see we have all this detail in there. Now that is way too strong, so on the strength here, I'm just going to change this to like a 0.1 so it's less strong, but if you zoom in there, you can still see there's a lot of bump there. So I now want to add in 3 more layers of bump, so I'm going to click on this bump node and I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate deduplicate it, and let's drop it right here. So the normal can go into the normal. So we now have this extra height value that we can add data into. So the next one that I'm going to add is the noise texture. So I'm going to take the factor from the noise texture and I'm going to plug that into the height on the bump. And that way it's going to add a little bit of noise all over the concrete. Now it isn't that strong, you're not really able to notice too much, so I'm going to turn the strength up to a 0.13, and that way it's going to be more strong. So if you kind of look right over there, you can definitely see that taking effect. So if you control shift and select this bump, you can preview that, and then I can control shift and select this, and you can see that is definitely doing something, so it's making it bumpy. All right, so I still want to add 2 more layers of bump, so I'm going to click on this bump node, and I'm going to press shift D to duplicate it, and let's drop it right down here. So again, this normal can go into the normal, so we now have this extra height value. So for this next one, I want to use this one right here, the little imperfections on this Voronoi texture. So with this texture here, this color ramp, I'm going to take the color and I'm going to plug that into the height of this bump node. So the color is going to go into the height, and then I can control shift and select the bump to preview that. Now I don't want it to be popping out. If you zoom in here, it kind of looks like it's popping out. Instead, I want it to look like it's going in to make it look like there are little chunks and cracks and things. So I'm going to click on the invert button, and that way instead of that bump coming out, it's going to go back in. And then it isn't very strong, and I want to make it just a little bit more strong. So I'm going to turn the strength up to a 0.15, and that way it's just a little bit more strong. So I just want to add one more layer of bump. So I'm going to click on this bump and I'll press shift D to duplicate it. We're just going to drop it right here. Now for the last layer of bump, I want to use this right here. I want to use these little dots here, which look like little rocks and pebbles and more imperfections. So I'm going to take the color from this mix and I'm going to plug the color into the height value on this last bump. So if I control shift and select this to preview it and zoom in here, you can see it's adding in those little bumps right there. So I can now control shift and select the principled BSDF to preview the final material. And there is the final render. So that is going to be it for this tutorial. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you'd like to help support me and my YouTube channel, then you can purchase this procedural material on my Gumroad store, and you also get access to it if you join my Patreon. And you can also check out my Blender procedural material packs if you'd like to purchase more of my procedural materials. And if you'd like to learn how to create more procedural materials, then I have a playlist on my YouTube channel where I show you how to create all of my procedural materials. All of the links will be in the video description. So I hope this tutorial was helpful, and thank you for watching.